Greetings everyone, my name is Buck Business. Konnichiwa, I'm Kawaii Critic, and today we are here to review My Little Pony Season 9, Episode 17, The Summer Sun Setback. So, interestingly enough, I was told that I was going to like and enjoy this episode, and yes, there are two elements that I did in fact enjoy about this episode. However, the rest of the episode could definitely use a lot of fixing. So let's dive right into it, as I'll be taking point on this review. So, speaking of the positives, and I'll get those out of the way first, is indeed Twilight Sparkle. Her character development is indeed very welcomed, finally at this point. Although, yes, it is peculiar that this is coming right after her trivial problem episode, and they even mention it in this episode. Again, pointing out your issues doesn't make it necessarily better, it just points it out and makes it more obvious that it was an issue in the first place. So, I do enjoy her character development still, but we'll get to everything else. And of course, the other part that was good was the return of our three villains here, Cozy Glow, Tyrek, and of course Chrysalis, as they are trying to storm one of the castles to get knowledge in order to how to figure out how to use this bell that they have obtained in one of the actual good episodes in Season 9. So you would think with that setup you would have a really solid episode. However, everything else in this episode is really, really dumb. Unfortunate, but yes, we once again have to have the rest of the main six, with the exception of Twilight, be really, really dumb, be really, really dishonest for the moral to work, because we still haven't apparently learned that honesty in this scenario would be the best course of action, yada yada yada. We gotta learn it again for whatever reason, so let's just stick it on this episode. Again, I think that is definitely one of MLP's greatest weaknesses, is this obligation to feel like you have to have a moral at the end of each episode. Particularly this one, it didn't feel like it needed a moral at all. It could have just been setup. That's fine to just have setup in your episode without having feel forced to stick on this moral about how all the friends are going to be obviously dishonest, and Applejack's like, come on guys, we've learned this time and time again, and no one ever listens to me, and blah blah blah. So not only are they stupid, but all the other ponies that the villains trick are really stupid. I mean, in particular, we have the return of Brayburn, I believe his name is, Applejack's cousin. He is tasked with, like, food stuff, so Tyrek is getting ready to suck up some energy. So he sucks up energy from one of the ponies in the bush, which is clearly behind the food cart. Brayburn goes to check it out, going past the food cart, checking it out, being really, really close, never looking into the bushes, by the way, seeing someone else get sucked, and turning around and actually thinking it was the food. Like, how dumb was that concept, and just trying to pull it out. It's just so convoluted, and it's just so stupid. Again, it doesn't help the villains at all. It doesn't make them look more competent. If anything, it just makes the ponies look really, really dumb. If anything, if you had Brayburn check back there and have Chrysalis, like, say, teleport them, because she has magic, so I can assume she can teleport, that could have just been the solution to your problem in the episode. Just have Chrysalis teleport them away, and then have Brayburn continue to be suspicious, but not about the food, about what's going on. Again, making the villains even more, escalating them even more as a threat as they are able to overcome the ponies as they are becoming more and more intelligent about their surroundings. That would make for a much more engaging episode. But no, instead we have all of this setback and all of this stupidity. And speaking of stupidity, let's talk about Discord. He has probably my least favorite line in this entire episode. No shocking news there, considering that he is one of the worst written characters on this show, right there with Starlight Glimmer. This has, of course, been another continuous issue about characters, the poorly written ones anyway, is that, well, they have been poorly written, and Discord has the gall to say character development is boring. Go the fuck and get yourself erased, person who wrote that line. Joking aside, because I don't have any actual ill will to the person, but you definitely need to go to writing school again, or something, or take some writing lessons. That is just, no. The lack of character development is what's actually frustrating. It's actually what's bad with this show, among the other caveats of obvious continuity errors that appear in this episode. Again, a constant issue with the My Little Pony show in general is keeping in line with continuity. And I'll talk about that more, I suppose, in the final episode, whenever that rolls around. But yeah, it's really hard to root for the villains, because that's who we're sort of going back and forth with when, again, all the ponies that they're surrounded by are so stupid that it's just like, well, I mean, of course the villains are going to get away with it. Of course they are. Instead of, oh wow, the villains got away with it. That's actually really surprising that they pulled it off. That should have been the response, but it wasn't. And that's what makes this episode bad, with the exception of Twilight being a well-written character here, and finally coming to terms with her craziness and all that nonsense. It feels like they sacrificed her character development growth for everyone else, with the exception of the villains, going backwards, and that's not a good thing. Sacrifice, as I mentioned, I believe it was the episode of Starlight Glimmer switching the Cunimarks, and I talked about how sacrifice is never worth it for character development, especially if you have to sacrifice someone else's character development. So in the end, I think this episode had potential to be good, but then flounders at every other opportunity except for making Twilight a better character. That's about the only thing that's good. Again, with the exception of the villains just being... And again, I can't even only fully say that, because again, it could have been more impressive for the villains to outsmart these ponies in better ways. So I can't even say the villains were that well written, because they are surrounded by idiots. So, this episode was actually pretty bad. Oh well. I was told I was gonna like it, I ended up not liking it. That's just how the cookie crumbles. So if you enjoyed this review, then please feel free to do all the stuff like commenting and subscribing, or you can subscribe to my main channel. I suppose I'll leave a link in the description. And until next time, everyone, farewell, bye-bye!